So Shelley, from the late 50s through the 1960s, you made 22 appearances on the Ed Sullivan Show. What was that like? What was being on the Ed Sullivan Show like, and what did it mean to you?
I'm surprised. I thought it was 21.
Give or take?
22. No, I'm sorry, what was...
So what was it like being on the Ed Sullivan Show? Such a showcase show for its time.
It could be wonderful. It could feel great. And he could treat you as if you are the most wonderful thing in the world. That's really where it is. And I had the luck, the good luck, of pleasing him almost always. Quite a number of appearances on his show. There was one show in particular where I was positive he wouldn't go along with me, but I did a thing called The Father and Son. I did a routine, actually, of me talking to my father, who wants me to live properly and doesn't want me to live with the actors because he thinks the actors are sissy boys, but he's afraid of me doing the sissy boys, and I tell him they're not like that, and it was a whole routine about a father and a son, and the father doesn't want what the son has chosen, but will give in, is obviously going to give in, finally, to let his son have what he wants, and that's the opportunity to do something other than act. In that thing, you finally see the humor in his chosen way, and what he really means, and how hard he struggles to get it said, until finally it's almost a total flip when he says, "You write a letter, huh? A postal card. Let me know what's going on with you." All right. You write a letter, you write, "Ma, your mother, she wouldn't have to worry. You know, she worries, she makes me crazy." Oh, these little lines are coming through. See? And you see this father with his accent and what he's doing, and pretty soon you are crying. You are fighting the tears, and you are saying thank you, and goodbye. You're saying goodbye, and the audience just almost jumps out of its seats because they're laughing. They're doing a lot of laughing at this scene, and they have a lot of understanding of some guy with an accent, who obviously a Jewish accent, and what he does and how he feels, and that thing ends. And now I know that when you're doing his Ed Sullivan Show, when you're doing Ed Sullivan Show, you'd better be in 7 minutes. if you're not in 7 minutes, they're going to throw you off. You don't overdo. You don't, well, I'm doing this thing, and I'm seeing 7 minutes on my own watch. And now I'm seeing myself going more than that, far more than that. And I'm ready to take the chance right now of taking it farther than that. And I can't remember what I actually ended up with, but it was long. And the applause was enormous. It was very, very well liked. Everything. It was very well liked. Now, when you get off of the stage, when you're through with your due, when you're doing that show, that has to be done in there. Well, I took the chance, and I took her. Now I'm standing, taking the applause and the cheers, and an audience standing up. It was the most wonderful moment of my career. That he allowed it, and that I did it, and it worked. And I got off stage, and I was going to walk off, and he says, the phone, my daughter.
Wife.
Huh?
My wife.
Ed Sullivan's wife.
Was it his wife? Wasn't it his daughter? No?
Wife.
Oh. I'm being corrected, for those of you who are watching this, I'm being corrected by my wife. Now, you know she's wrong. Except that, yes, in this case, she's right. Darn it. But okay, that's the way it goes.
So Ed Sullivan's wife is on the phone after your routine?
Ed Sullivan tells me, my wife is on the phone. My wife is on the phone. So, and I know where she is. She's and stage left. So I go off, and there she is, a weeping woman who took my hands and told me how beautiful it was. Tears, and how beautiful it was. What could I do? All I could do is thank her, and embrace her, and get off that stage. No. For 21 or 22 shows with this one man, I've got to say that he never hurt me. He always cheered me. It was a great thing to be with him. He wasn't the funny face that people thought he was. He wasn't anybody silly. Forgive me.
What was Ed Sullivan like personally? What did we not see on TV that you might have seen backstage with Ed Sullivan?
He was a strong man. He was very strong. But sometimes he would laugh. He'd go off and laugh. Because he talked to some woman who's an elephant tamer. This man would talk to this woman who was an elephant tamer. and she'd go out and do her elephant tricks. And he, you know, but he might, if the circumstances require, he might tell the lady to tell the elephant to make it quicker. Now that is possible with this man, and it was very possible. He would do other things similar, where he would ask somebody to do something, but they couldn't do it because it was not something they can do.
He had a very distinct style that we saw, a very kind of clipped way of talking. Did he talk like that?
Yes.
Off camera?
Off camera, particularly. You see, when I got off the stage, I knew to march right up to his office. You don't go to your dressing room. You go to his office so he can tell you that you're no damn good, or he can tell you how long do you have to be? There are other people on that stage. He was very, very demanding. So, but he was never demanding in a way that was career ruining or career frightening. He just had a way. He had a good way. I had 21 times with him, and it wasn't enough.
Did it help your career to be on that show so many times?
Where, I don't know. I just did it. I did that show. And whether it helped the career, did not. Yes, it was to hit it on his show was a good thing. You didn't need somebody to tell you it's good. You'd know it.
Did you have new material every time you came on the show? Did you have to?
For Ed Sullivan? Yeah, I never did the same thing. I don't recall, but I may have done one thing this twice.
How did you develop your material? Did you write it out scripted, or did you have an idea and you kind of went off from that, like improv?
No, it was not like that. I just knew that I knew what I was going to do. And I was free to make a change if I felt, or to do something better. I was very free, because improv was my technique, and improv was my creative technique. So I knew how to build, and today I could do improv right now. And we can make a comedy together.
Did you rehearse your routines?
Did I rehearse what?
Your routines before you went on stage for Sullivan.
No, I pretty not much knew what I was going to do. So I'd get out there and do it. And there were times when I was over, and times when he would maybe scold me, but he never hurt me.
Did Ed Sullivan ever edit your ideas or your routines?
No.
How about?
I don't think he would ever do that.
How about the censors? How about the censors back then? Did you have to Did you have to just be careful about what you said because of the censors, or did you take chances?
No.
Since it was live TV, for a lot of those years it was live.
I guess there might have been times when you had to be sure that you're not going to do anything that would hurt the show. And yeah, there was sometimes when you were afraid that you might do it, might hurt it. But no, thank God there was that man who would make sure. So that was it. And, you know, I really didn't spend a whole lot of my time worrying about whether it can get by the censors. I knew my audience in a nightclub anywhere. I knew my audience, and I was going to do something that's going to make them laugh. Now, there were things I could do in a nightclub, and that I shouldn't really just carry out on the TV. No. There were certain things. There were 2 jokes that I warned the audience that I'm going to do something that's not tasteful. So, but those 2 jokes were something I had in the barrel, that's all.
Why do you think Ed Sullivan's show worked so well? It was a combination of young rock and roll acts, established acts, movie stars, circus acts, Topo Gigio, comedians, everything under the sun. Why did that show work for so many years?
You just said it. You just said it. Said it all. You said it all. It was something that no other show has ever had. And no show since has had it. This guy invented. What did he invent? Well, he invented himself. And it was so beautiful what he did. And this guy could put an opera singer, a female opera singer, on that stage who follows the elephant. Honest to God. Well, let's see where that one comes in. The elephant, yeah, we'll go after the elephant. But as far as he was concerned, the elephant that can be taught how to dance is a very good thing. When that's over, this should be on. But that's an opera singer. The opera singer follows the elephant. But that's a different act altogether. That's the way he would say it. Huh? What are you talking about? He was so good at what he did. He was so good at picking the talent. He didn't have a big job at picking the talent. Once that was done, the talent didn't have to be taught too much. He could trust it. Anyway, that was him, and I worked with many other great performers. Perry Como, who did a tap dance with this great Peter Gennaro, huh?
Let's talk about your comedy albums.
A comedy album.
Yes, in 1959, you released your first album called Inside Shelley Berman. At that time, were comedy albums, was that a new thing to have a comedy routines recorded on an album?
the guy who talked me into making the record was a comedian. It was Mort Saul. And he made a recording and told me he made a recording. But I'd never heard of anybody making a recording, making a comedy recording. I did not hear anybody, even the one that is known for doing what I do. And that worked. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember the other names of people.
Lenny Bruce?
Mort Saul was my friend who talked me into doing the recording, which became a very big success. Lenny Bruce was my friend. I loved him, and he did very well. But I don't think he made a recording.
Yes, he did.
He did? Okay. Yeah.
But your album was a milestone for at least a couple of reasons. Yours was the first comedy album to go gold, and I believe it was the first non-musical album to win a Grammy Award.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a very seminal album in terms of history of comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. These are okay, you know.
So how did you feel? How did you react to that when this became such a big success? How did that feel?
My God, I'm very excited about the success of it, but because we didn't expect that. I expected everybody's going to know my material, and I try to talk everybody out of it, but I did it, and it sold. It made a fortune, and then I was making another album, and they did that one. And then it would be a long time, but then the others waiting in line, I can't think of the black performers who rose at that time.
Dick Gregory.
Who?
Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory.
Could be Dick Gregory.
And later Bill Cosby, of course.
Bill Cosby, yeah. Bill Cosby, yeah. That started with that. So now the idea of a recording is spreading. See?
You made an appearance on the Dinah Shore show where there was some censorship. Can you tell us about that?
Oh yes, I recall that. I was doing a phone call naturally on her show, and there's one place where I said I can't remember the girl's name that I was talking to. Shirley? Yeah, Shirley. I can't remember her name. Anyway, it was Shirley, and I was just doing my regular phone calls, and I recall this. Shirley, when she's get deep all my flaws. Shirley, Shirley, that seems like. That's wrong. You know what I mean, Shirley? I mean, how can you tell? When two people are holding hands, can anyone ever tell for sure which hand is doing the sweating? No. Why is it so bad? Well, it's the only way I can say it. What way do you think? All right, okay, but Shirley, When two people are holding hands, is there any way that you can tell which person is doing the moisting? Well, well, that's the only way I can see out of that thing is to say moisting. Well, is that worse? Well, okay, Shirley. Well, let's go back to sweating. Can we? Well, are you really upset with that? Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Shirley. I won't talk to you about that in the future. All right, thank you.
But the point of that little routine you just did is that did the censors not allow you to use the word sweating?
Do I have to explain it?
Well, I just want to make sure it's clear that people watching this will realize that you had to substitute moisting for sweating. Is that
Do
right?
I have to straighten that
Sarah?
out?
No,
Oh,
that's correct.
That's correct?
Now, hold it. No.
So what
There is no way I can do it other than the way I've just done. All right? What else can I do?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Huh?
Moving on.
Moving on. Okay. In the late 50s, Lenny Bruce put an album out called The Sick Comedy of Lenny Bruce. The Sick Comedy of Lenny Bruce. Time magazine started using this term of sick comedian, referring to Lenny Bruce, maybe Mort Saul, maybe you. What's your reaction to this term, sick comedian?
My reaction is that I just fell into something, and I don't think I did anything sick. I believe even suggesting that I fell into that is painful and harmful. I don't recall it as being my, if I was, yes, and I believe you, I believe that happened, but I'm damned if I'm going to spend a lot of time worrying about it.
Let's talk about the Jack Paar show. You appeared as a guest and also a guest host at different times between 1960 and 1965. How did that come about? And how did it come about that you were asked to be a guest host for Jack Paar?
For Jack Paar? I don't know how that came about, but I have to tell you that after 3 days of being a guest host, they almost cut my head off. They just decided that isn't for me, and I allowed that to happen. I just got away, and there was no way for me to become a host. That's all.
Did you prefer being a guest as opposed to a host?
I think I would have preferred being a host, but I wasn't good enough for that. It wasn't my thing, and so I lived with what I do. That's it.
What was it like working with Jack Paar?
Well, Jack Paar was good. He was a nice guy, and I got to do a show. Got to do an up and down show, and I performed. I got paid for it, and it was good for me. But I don't. It wasn't something I liked as like I like. Like
Ed
what's
Sullivan?
huh?
Like Ed Sullivan? Or
Like Ed
big
Sullivan.
on Ed Sullivan?
It wasn't like Ed Sullivan. It was not like the other people I was important with. It just wasn't my thing.
You were a guest on Jack Parr's show the night that he walked off the show. Kind of a famous moment in television history. What happened that night? What do you remember about that night?
God. Somebody came to my dressing room and said, you just be cool. Why? Well, he's gonna walk off, and I just said, well, what do I do? Just be cool. All right. Then I was out there, and he did it. He walked off the stage because he was imposed upon, and they hurt his feelings, and he left the stage.
Did they also censor a joke that he had done? Or they wanted to censor a joke or something? Did it have something to do with that too?
I think he had made some kind of comment which they felt was wrong. Mm-hmm. Somehow a few people there wanted to hear me say the right thing. But it seemed to me if I say the right things, I'm burying him. And I don't want to do that. So I just didn't do that. That's all.
So what did you do?
I just left the show. I had nothing else to do. What could I do? Do you remember that, Sarah?
Yes.
Sarah's not mic'd. I'm just going to repeat what she said. She said that you said that we owe it to our audience to continue with the show.
Well, I felt that it was necessary to continue the show. Yes. But I didn't want to bury him.
What was your relationship with Jack Parr like after that night?
It wasn't very good. It was very, very bad.
Why?
Because I didn't walk off with him.
Did you ever do the show again? After
No.
that? No. In retrospect, how do you feel about that? About how you reacted?
Well, it was a damn shame, but it's the people who write show business occasions. That was the sweetest meal they could have. And so I was part of that meal. I read a lot of unfortunate stuff about me and my attitude. And but hey, I've had lots of other things happen.
Was that a live show? Did that happen live? Or was
Yes.
Okay.
It was live.
Let's move on to The Twilight Zone.
The Twilight Zone.
You did an episode of The Twilight Zone in 1961. It
Yeah.
was called The Mind and the Matter.
Yeah.
How did you get involved doing that episode of The Twilight Zone?
I got involved in it by picking up my phone that was ringing and hearing from, I keep forgetting his name.
Rod Serling.
And I picked up my phone, and this fellow said, "I am Rod Serling. I want you to do one of my shows. Is that okay?" Well, besides almost dropping the phone, or just going and dropping myself, as long as I stayed upright, I said, "Great, I'd like to do that." And he told me, what we're going to do and what kind of a part I'm going to have, and this is when we're starting, so I went there and learned what the thing is and started playing that part. And then I think, Sarah, didn't I come home for a few days?
What was the premise of that episode? Do you remember?
Huh?
What was the premise? What was the episode about?
The premise of the episode is that I want everybody to change. I want everybody to be like I am. That's the way the world should be, exactly like I am. And so everybody on that show had my face. It was incredible what they did, how they photographed it and did it, and people all had that mask of my face. And it was very scary to see, but that's the way it was working out. And one day I went to him and I said, it's all men, it's all males. What is that? It seems to me that you're just doing all men is not sufficient in terms of all people. So the next day, they started fitting me for a dress and for a wig and for makeup. I looked like a woman, and I had this part in an elevator. We drove up the elevator, and I think I said, "Would you please watch your hands?" And that was it. And
but the fun of it must have been that you were playing multiple characters that were that looked just like you, including the woman. I mean, the woman was insulting your character, and then it would cut to you responding to her or something.
That's correct. In that elevator,
right, and you were the elevator operator, and you were everybody. You were everywhere. So why do you think Rod Serling wanted to write an episode for you?
I don't know why, but he must have enjoyed me on other occasions. Must have felt I was a proper actor, and so I just took the part. I know the show. I watched the show. I know him, and so I was being treated beautifully. And hey, give me a part, give me the role, give me the script. And I got that, and I got it, and I got the changes. That went along with that, and fine. When I finally played a woman, being one of the people, it was a kick.
And your character was a man who worked in an office and didn't like people, so he used mind over matter to make everyone disappear. Then you brought everybody back in your own image, and you realized that you didn't like the person you were. So
yeah.
finally you brought things back to normal.
Yeah.
Was Rod Serling ever on the set? Did you meet him?
Oh,
personally?
he was on the set. I talked to him. I said, I think maybe you should have a woman here, And it was like that when we talked. And so the next day, they were set for the woman.
How was the episode received? Did you hear from people about you being in it?
No, it was a kick. Yeah. Everybody liked it. Yeah. I liked it. And people still compliment me on it.
You did Rawhide. Now, Rawhide's a Western. How did you like doing a Western with Clint Eastwood?
Ah, Clint Eastwood would come and see me whenever I was in California. Whenever I was in Los Angeles, he would come and he would stand somewhere in the with the audience, and he'd watch me. Who was that guy, that lanky guy from another show, a Western show? And he liked what I did. And one day he said, we got to get you to do a show with me. And then I got the call. My agent got the call that I was going to play the part of a salesman, of a traveling salesman. It was actually a Jewish salesman. You got to know it from listening to him speak, and from how he prayed at night when and how the Indians would pray. And so I was just a Jewish traveler, a traveling salesman, and I had all kinds of junk on my cart that I rode with the horse. And I asked him if he's going to ride with me, and he said, "No." So and he went to we went to a good area that really was a remarkable hills and places that I have never seen. And he sort of kept an eye on me because I was traveling through the Western world, and I would deal with the Western Indians. He was just the guy interested in me.
Was it a comedic role? I mean, a kind of a comedic part you had in a drama?
Well, yes, he was humorous man, but it was because he was innocent, very, very innocent man, and liked being where he was, liked the people who took care of him, and he had all this stuff, equipment to sell. And he was able to be enjoined with the Indian tribe. They liked me, and that night we cooked an Indian meal. So I was pretty happy with that.
Did you you were in many dramas? You were in just well over 100 episodes. Did you tend to play a comedic character even in dramas, for the most part?
No, I didn't come to play a comedic character all the time. Mm-hmm. Some of the times, not enough. Some of the times were serious, but most of the times were comedic. I didn't intend for it to be comedic, but that's where it was. And there was a sweetness about the role, no matter what. Being a little old Jew and having having a nice kind of relationship with a little old Indian. And that sort of thing. It was kind of pretty and happy to be. Yeah.
During the 60s, you made many appearances on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Yes.
Tell me about that. What was it like working with Johnny Carson?
Always good. Always good to be with Johnny Carson. No matter what, it was always good. Naturally, I was expected to do a routine. I was never expected to just sit there and be humorous. I'd love that, because when I did just sit there and be humorous, I thought I did well. But having to do a routine, well, that was part of it.
What was it like? Johnny Carson was famous for launching the careers of new comedians, but you were a well-known established comedian.
Yes.
How was that different on the Carson show? Did you come out right to the couch to begin with and chat with him? Or did you come and do a routine and then join him?
Yes, I had to do a routine and join him.
Okay.
That's the deal. That was the deal.
Was Carson a good audience?
Yes, he
For
was
you?
good. Yes, yes.
How so?
He would sit and laugh. He would laugh. I don't recall him being the best push. He wasn't my agent, but he did it. I was his thing to do. That's it. And I don't think it was head over heels for me. No.
You also appeared on the Judy Garland show in 1964. What was that like? What was she like?
What? That was a very, very interesting and exciting event. We, after rehearsal, after we did rehearsal, it was decided that she may not sing the Battle Hymn of the Republic, because that was JFK's favorite song, and he has recently died. So, okay, that's the way it was. Now, I didn't do a routine there. I just did something with her, and that was it. So, actually, I did a little routine with her. With what was that now? No.
Ethel Merman?
Ethel Merman.
Ethel Merman was on the show.
Well, Ethel Merman was there, but no.
You did a routine with Judy.
Wait. Who?
Judy Garland.
Ethel
Judy.
Garland.
Judy Garland. Yeah.
Right.
Judy Garland. Yeah.
Was she? Could you tell she was troubled at any point? I mean, personally.
Judy Garland?
Yes.
She did no rehearsals with Ethel Merman.
Right.
All week. Ethel Merman just sat. And I thought, gee, there's something wrong there. And then and I just sat there because I had a routine to do with her. And then I found that she wasn't going to do that routine. And there I was. And when it came for her to sing the Battle Hymn of the Republic, we knew that she wasn't going to be allowed to sing it. We knew she wasn't going to be allowed to sing it. We heard the absolute. She's not going to be allowed to sing the Battle Hymn of the Republic. But then we're waiting for her to sing any song, and she comes out. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Now, she not only excited and angry as hell, but she is showing it. She's trampled out the vintage, the great stone, and then she throws the wire that she pulls from behind. We didn't have that remote type thing. And she's singing now. She's got this thing in her hand, and she is singing that Battle Hymn of the Republic. It's so good. It is so strong. It is so heavy. She is giving it everything she's got, and the band, of course, just followed in with her. They knew they couldn't play it, but this is it. So she's singing it. And they knew they couldn't play it, and she's working it, and I'm sitting there, I'm sitting there. The fact is that my thing was cut. But all right, now here I am, rising, as I'm seeing her dance, and now we're seeing other people rising. Now we're looking at the audience rising. We're looking at the members of the orchestra standing and rising. That incredible thing is happening out in front of us and around us, and I'm rising, and it was so exciting. And by the time she finished that song, everybody in the audience, every page, every single employee in there, in that auditorium, every single one is on his feet, on her feet. I couldn't, and here we are on stage. Judy Garland sang her song. She was told she couldn't. But the scream of the audience, the way the band worked to bring it to a head, oh my God. But no one in show business will ever neglect to remember that day.
You did a number.
Turns out that the Battle Hymn of the Republic was the favorite of John F. Kennedy, who was only recently killed.
So it sounds like a really rousing moment. What about Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In in the late 60s?
No, but you see, this was another thing. That was another kind of show. And I didn't get enough time on that show. I think I didn't get anything on that show. It was without me.
With little sketches.
Little quick blackout comedy sketches and things
Yeah,
like that.
I could do that.
It was like I guess it was new for its time because it was so quick. It was all cut to pieces and then assembled.
Well, it was a good show, actually. They knew the comedians they're going to put in there, and there was a lot of them, and there was not me.
There was a break in your career, kind of a lull for a while. Was it related to, was there a documentary done about you at one time?
Yes.
And what was that about? Called Backstage Comedian?
Comedian Backstage. No,
okay.
No, it just showed me on the first day of their thing, there was a phone rang on the stage while we're having our show, doing our show, and so I warned people, please don't let, because I do phones, so please don't let it ring anymore. And then so it went on anyway. The show went on, and boom, I'm on stage, and the telephone rings again. Now I go in. After the show, I go in, or after this event, I go in. Say, you didn't have to do that. I mean, the phone wouldn't have ringed in here. If the phone rang here, you could just take the phone off of here and put it down. You know, put it down to the end of its line, and you put it down. And so it was sure, you're wrong. You shouldn't have done that. And I went up stage, and I said to the fellow in there who was my dressers, and I said, it's just what the hell, you know? We had every chance to take the phones. There's about 6 phones over there. Just take them off, so one of them wouldn't ring. Just take them down, take them off, and you put them down at the end of their line. Put them down. That's it. And I said, "What's wrong? Who's wrong to do that? You hurt my show. You hurt me."
So you were upset?
Yes,
by the distraction of these phones going off stage?
Huh?
Were you upset by the fact that these phones kept ringing, or the phone kept ringing?
The phone rang once.
Yeah.
And I said, you make sure it doesn't happen again.
Right.
Okay? So then, a little later on, when I'm on stage, the phone rang a second time. And when I got off the stage, I said, we had a problem there. The phone rang once, and now you let it ring twice, and you didn't have to do that. All you had to do was take them down, and so keep them off. And I went upstairs to my dressing room and said, "What the hell? They can read it. It's terrible. Don't ruin a show like that."
We're going to have to change tape.